Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, do me a huge favor and click that subscribe button down below for content like this and many more. For all your current subscribers, thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. And before I continue, I want to give a big thank you to Hyundai for allowing me to have these vehicles in my home test area. I've been living with this 23 Santa Fe for the past week. I'm going to talk about it, review it, go over all the specs, all the features. Stay tuned. That is coming up next. Okay, let's talk 2023 Hyundai Santa Fe. This is the calligraphy trim. So what is the calligraphy trim? This is the most expensive version of the Santa Fe. This has every possible option you can have in a Santa Fe. Things like full LED headlights, which I think is standard on every trim, and taillights and turn signals. You have a heads-up display. You have power folding mirrors, as you guys can see. Excuse me, I'm getting tongue-tied here. Full panoramic sunroof, and one pleasing crowd favorite, the Hyundai Smart Park. So you hold this, you press lock, and hold the start button, and you can do something like this, as something as silly as literally drive the car. I am not in the car, I'm just holding this button and it is driving itself, which is a bit hilarious, but it does it. So it's definitely a crowd pleaser. And of course you could hold it back forward and it will move forward completely on its own. I am not in front of it, I'm not inside of it, of course. And if you stand in front of it, the car will brake. As you can see, the car brakes because it has the sensors, cameras. Obviously, it will never run over, or anybody for that matter. But let's turn it off so we can talk about it. And let's talk about it. This is a 2023 Santa Fe Calligraphy Edition. So this is fully loaded, as you guys can see. I like this kind of liquid gray metallic paint that it has. It's very nice, kind of like cement gray. These up here, as you guys saw, are the daytime running lights. So you got like a T-shaped lighting situation here. So you got these lights here and this little T, which I will demonstrate in a second. So if you press unlock, like when I turn it on, you have the little T shape here, both high and low beam LED. You have this nice glossy black trim. Glossy black grille. Front facing camera is right there. Radar sensor for the automatic cruise control is right here. This has the skid plate. And walking around it, it's very nice, very good looking vehicle. This is sitting on Continental Cross Sport Contact, wrapped in 255/45 wheels, which are huge. Mirrors are fully power folding, as you guys can see, is folding in. And this used to be Hyundai's largest SUV before the Palisade existed. So now that the Palisade exists, this is now the middle child on the Hyundai SUV lineup. Here you got the lighting over here is all LED as well. So taillights are up on the top and turn signals on the bottom, which not a good idea if you get hit rear-ended. Not a good idea. So let's take a look at the trunk. This video is going to be a little different than my traditional videos for all of you who know who follow me. So as you guys can see, there is a lot of space. I will leave the cubic inches, when I will insert the cubic feet in here. So the third row seat used to be here, as you guys can see. So you have a lot of space, a lot of room, and in its place, you have a giant cubby that you can put whatever you want in there. And this one, and back here, you have a fix-a-flat. Unfortunately, there is no spare tire, which kind of sucks. So you got this little pump, fix-a-flat thing for your tire. One nice feature is that you can fold the seats down individually. So you can press this button right here and the seats go down, and to give you plenty of space. I have my camera equipment on that side, so it's not going to go down all the way, but overall it is a very, very space. They don't come back up again power. You have to get the Palisade for that. The Palisade does that in all 3 rows of seating. There's a look at that panoramic sunroof. You do have this vehicle, because it's the calligraphy trim, has a 630 watt Harman Kardon sound system. So you have 12 speakers, subwoofer everywhere. So let's take a look at the interior, the tech, and then we go for a quick drive. But before we do that, let's take a look at the engine bay. Let's pop the hood here, and I'll show you guys the interior colors and stuff like that. But let's take a look at what powers the Santa Fe. You can get this in a hybrid and plug-in hybrid trims, but this particular engine is the 2.5 liter turbo 4-cylinder engine, 281 horsepower and 311 pounds-feet of torque. Made it to an 8-speed automatic. It runs on regular. You don't have to give it the good stuff. I believe the power number is maybe 277, but I'll double check that and insert the correct number in this video here. But nothing crazy to see under here. Very nice, tidy engine bay, and that's pretty much it. Let's take a look at the interior, the technology, the features, and then we go for a final drive. Stay tuned for that. Okay, let's take a look at the interior of the 2023 Hyundai Santa Fe. Mirrors are power folding, so when you walk up to the car, they will auto unlock. They're not unlocking now because I just locked it manually, but you can unlock it by just putting your hand in the door handle like so, and they unlock, and you can lock it by pressing this little button here, which may be hard to pick up on camera, but here we go. And getting inside, being that this is the calligraphy trim, the highest version of the Santa Fe, materials in here are nice, very, very nice. This one is finished in a 2-tone material, so you got Nappa leather seats. This one has 4-way lumbar support. You have thigh extension over here, which is very nice, and luxury car-like features here. The seats are heated and cooled. So, and these are the controls. Very nice use of materials. They look like metal, but they're not. The materials in the door panels are soft padded. You got memory seats for 2 drivers, which remembers the steering wheel. No, excuse me, the mirrors, the seat, and the heads-up display height. And let's take a look at let's step inside the front seat of the Santa Fe. And let's start it up. So push your foot on the brake, push button is right here. And this being that is the top trim, you do have a 12-inch instrument cluster. So, which is a 12.3-inch, instrument cluster. So you can customize it. You have a couple of different drive modes. The main infotainment is a 10.25-inch screen. It does have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Sadly, it's not wireless yet, so you do have to plug it in right here. And you got 2 cup holders, so you got one here, in a kind of odd position. You do have a nice little, decent sized cubby. You got a little deep center console there. And let me put that back there. Okay, maybe I put this the wrong way. Nope. Whoop. Okay, there it goes. All right. So the screen can be controlled. The modes, you can change them right here. So you have Smart, Comfort, Sport, and a snow mode, and you can lock the center differential. So when you go to different modes, so right now it's in Comfort. If I go to Smart, it stays the same. And if you go to Sport, it gets angry and red. And basically what it does is it firms up the steering. So the steering gets a little firmer, and the throttle response gets a little, quicker. So this vehicle does have paddle shifters. So you got minus here and up on the right. Full automatic headlights, automatic wipers. And one nice thing that Hyundai does is you guys can see, it tells you where the wipers are. So, which is very nice. And the same thing with the lighting. So if you put it on off, it tells you off, auto, you know, whatever. And one thing that this vehicle's Hyundais and Kias do, and Genesis, is when you have an instrument cluster like this, an LCD screen, if you put the turn signal, it has lane watch, which is very, very nice. And very genius technology, very cool. And you can see kind of who's in your blind spot. Because this vehicle has a 360-degree camera, you can pretty much see everything. And speaking of cameras, of course, this vehicle has 360 cam. So you can, of course, see all around the vehicle. You can see that's the front view. You can do top down, rear, different angles. These are the mirrors. And this is, of course, top view. And of course, when you put the vehicle in reverse, you do have trajectory lines, which is very unique and very, not unique, very helpful, excuse me. There is physical controls for pretty much everything. I mean, this is nice. Some people may freak out with the amount of buttons are in here, but you do have a traditional volume knob right here. You have button for the map, navigation, favorites, track forward, backwards, radio, media, and then setup button. And the infotainment is traditional, easy to use Hyundai infotainment. So you have the map, navigation menu. Here you have something called quiet mode. So quiet mode, what it does is it turns off the speakers in the rear and it just leaves the front ones on. So this way, when you have the little one in the back sleeping, you can listen to music in the front speakers and turns off the rear one, which is a nice little touch. Another thing that it does have is passenger talk. So you can press this and talk, and it may not pick it up on camera, but I sound like I'm in a supermarket. It basically turns the car into like a megaphone and everybody can hear you, especially in the back seat. Useful feature if you have, of course, a lot of people in the car. Satellite radio. This is the system for, of course, our Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, which is wired. Climate control screen right here. Of course, it has dual zone climate control. Heated and cool seats right here for both passenger. Heated steering wheel. Auto brake hold buttons right there, which holds that. What that does is hold the brake when you come to a light. It holds it. Automatic engine start stop technology is right there. Parking sensors, downhill assist, the camera mode, and that's pretty much it. You got you do have a wireless charger, so when you can insert your phone right over here like so, and it will charge it. As you guys can see, the Qi wireless charger button turn on, one USB port, and that's pretty much it. Of course, you do have this very nice panoramic sunroof. Everything in the pier is finished in black suede headliner. The lighting is LED. Everything is in here is LED, as it should for the price point. Glove box is decent size, big glove box. You do have a little ambient lighting here on this little cubby. Speaker grills are nicely textured, and mirrors are power folding. This vehicle does have a heads-up display, which is hard to pick up on camera. You see it flashing there in the screen. It doesn't flash in real life. It shows you turn-by-turn navigation, lane departure warning. The vehicle does have also Hyundai's smart driving, highway driving assist. What that does is it will completely take over the steering, the acceleration, and the braking all by itself. And one neat feature that this vehicle does, if you set the cruise control speed to like 90 or 80 or whatever, and the speed limit is 55, it will automatically lower this to the correct speed limit because it's seeing it on the camera and the navigation system. And the map is simple, nothing crazy. Traditional map, it works. But most people are probably going to be using Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, which this vehicle does have. All right, let's take a look at the back seat, the comfort features back there, and then we go for a quick drive. Stay tuned for that. Okay, let's step inside the back seat of the Hyundai Santa Fe. So to get in here, sadly, there is no sensors back here. There's no way to close the door. You have to do the front or the key. So getting in here, this door opens very, very wide. Not 90 degrees, but almost 90. Same materials as in the front. You do have shade here for the sun and the kiddos, and some to block out some peasant blockers, as some people will say. Shout out to straight pipe guys. And the material continues back here. Similar as in the front, of course, diamond quilted leather seats. These back here are also heated. So let's step inside, and plenty of room. I'm 5'8". I have plenty of room back here. No problem whatsoever. There's the button for the 2-level heated seats right there. Of course, the windows are automatic, up and down. Yep, and it goes all the way down. And the seats are reclining. You do have rear vents back here. You do have a household style outlet plug back there. 2 USB-A ports. No Mac pocket behind the driver's seat, which is a little weird. But you do have one right here. Cup holders in the doors. But you do have cup holders here, center mounted right here. And it's not a bad place to be. Let me flip over the camera a little bit so I can show you guys the reclining, how much it reclines, and it reclines a lot. You feel like you're in a luxury car, space back here, which is very cool. So, all right, let's take a look at the back cargo area. Excuse me, no, we're done with the cargo, but let's take the Santa Fe for a quick drive and final thoughts. Stay tuned for that. All right, let's drive the 2023 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy Edition. Before I continue, I just want to say that you can get this vehicle. The lowest price starting point, is about $28,000. Front-wheel drive, naturally aspirated engine, and of course you can go all the way up to this one, which is $45,000 as tested. A nicely equipped version of this would be the SEL trim, which is the happy medium. That one you get suede faux leather seats. You do get the panoramic sunroof with a package, and that will be about $40,000, give or take. Maybe a hair under 40, but let's go for a drive. Let me set the climate control here, as it is a very, very hot day today. And so far, somebody asked me if this is better than a Mazda CX-5, one of my viewers, and my answer is not that it's better, but it's just fine. Like, this vehicle will not disappoint anybody. If you're looking for something to, drive around your family and everything, this Santa Fe is not gonna disappoint you. Now, because this used to have a third row seat, it kind of fits in the middle. It's kind of like a tweener car, because it's not a third row, it's not a Tucson, because this is bigger than a Tucson. So in certain instances, this might be a better buy than the Tucson, because it's bigger. You have a lot of cargo space back there, for kiddos, for pretty much anything, and it's not a bad buy in that sense, because you have all that extra space back there, so you could definitely, space for people carrying and cargo and stuff like that. So in terms of power, obviously this is an SUV. This is not a race car or anything like that. But in terms of power, the power is decent. It does have, healthy numbers. The 311 pound-feet of torque is definitely noticeable when you push it. And I'll do a little bit of demonstration here. Let's see. And it takes off. It does take off. It does have power. Power numbers are decent. Again, but you're not winning. And I just feel the steering wheel is getting nice and snug here. And sport mode, maybe we'll liven up the RPM a little bit, which I'll demonstrate a little bit once I get a chance, if traffic allows me. Let's see. And yeah, the steering, I don't think the steering does anything. I think it stays exactly the same. And You know, of course, you get eye candy with the instrument cluster getting all lively and stuff like that, but and you hear the engine staying, the RPM staying a little higher. But there is a comfort mode, there is a snow mode as well. So for winter driving, the transmission shift points will adjust accordingly. But overall, this is a very, very nice SUV. You know, it is a great family vehicle. This is also in the verge of getting a complete makeover, the 2024, which I'll insert the picture of what that looks like up here somewhere so you guys can see that. And it's a very drastic and dramatic departure from what this looks like. So the new one will definitely stick out in a good way. It will be a very different vehicle completely than this current generation, which means that this one will probably be on sale because dealerships are probably going to get rid of this one and make room for the new one. But anyway, this has been my first drive and full review of the 2023 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy trim. This has been a pleasure driving this vehicle for the past week. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for supporting, likes, sharing. I really appreciate every single one of you. And I will see you all on the next one. Take care and stay safe.